powerful subscription. So yeah, so this is really exciting. I'm looking at, am I running the show here? Do I have to click OK? I'm getting messages. So, okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'll share my screen and we'll dive deep into the digital nutrition. I'll do that one first. It's a bit longer. What I'm going to do is attempt to bring some big science, some big biology to you in an easy to understand and digest way. So I've done what I could to make it very understandable. And you'll also have to bear with me as well, because I'm used to just saying exactly what I want to say. And I know we have to be very compliant. So I want to start also by saying that Healy is a wellness device. It's not an illness device. It is designed as a wellness device to balance the bioenergetic field and support the bioenergetic field. It's not designed to diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease state. So having said that, I feel very covered. So if I stall for a minute or so, I'm thinking of ways to be very compliant.
That's great.
So, all right, I will jump in and share my screen and we'll get this party started. So we are talking about the digital nutrition. So basically the body is multi-layered and it's multi-dimensional. So when you think about your health, most of the times you think in terms of a physical body, but we're not going to think that way in Healy. We have now learned that we're dealing with multi-dimensions when we dive into Healy and multiple layers of who we are as a holistic being. So ultimately, what we normally look at is we look at the body and all of the body systems. Of course, things like the skin, the muscles, the veins, the arteries, the capillaries, ligaments, tendons, bones. So we think about all of these body systems, and that's a lot. I mean, that's just big stuff anyway. But then we get into the cells of all of those body systems. So things like nerve cells in the nerves, the lungs, so lung cells, the brain, you've got, again, neurons, nerves, astrocytes, all of the cells that comprise the brain, cardiac cells, the heart. And this is something that I am very passionate about, which is the microbial community of our body. So we have microbes, and all of these microbes are these little civilizations in and of themselves. So we've got all of these different cells that comprise everything that we are, but the microbiome is now considered one of the body's organs. So when you think about the microbiome, most of us think, okay, well, they're in the gut. But actually, these incredible microbes are in all of our body systems almost, you know. So if you look at the image here, you can see all of the areas where we have microbes and microbial communities that are very important for us. So, which I've said already, the microbiome is now being considered as one of the body's organs. So we talked about all of the different body systems, but we also have to think in terms of our microbial communities, and they are very important to our overall health. So I love this image because it looks like a galaxy, but it's actually a picture of our cells, of our body. We are an amazing community of cells. And again, we are a symbiotic organism. So all of these different things have to communicate. We are, as a community of cells, we have to make sure that this dialogue is crossing all of these different areas of what we consider our holistic body and our health. As if that's not enough to deal with. You know, we are also an energy being, and we have multiple levels to this, these levels of being an energy being. So we've got, if you look here at this image right here, you can see the 7 main energy centers of the body called the chakras. And so this is more of the holistic wellness. And we want to think in terms of being an energetic being. We are multidimensional. And how are we multidimensional? Well, each one of these specific energy centers is connected to a larger energy body. And so I'll go into the chakras just a little bit more. You can see where they're placed again in the body, and they're energy vortexes. They spin energy. They intersect with energy. They can take us into different dimensions based on the frequency of each of these specific energy centers. Now, also, each one of the chakras aligns to different body systems. So it has a group of different organs in different bodies that it connects with and is associated to. So I hope you're starting to see the bigger picture. We've got all of these body systems. We have all of these cells. We have the microbiome. We have all of these different chakras, these energy centers, and they actually take us out into those other dimensions. So we can see here, the root chakra, the very first chakra, is red, and you can see in this layer here around this diagram, that's the first energy. That's the first vibration that comes through those chakras that constructs this etheric body. So if we go to the second chakra, which vibrates in the color orange, that more aligns with our emotional body, where we process emotions. And of course, keep in mind that all of these energy centers, they extend through dimensions. They're not just in the 3D where the physical body lives, but they spread out into higher planes of existence. And the difference between the physical body and all the 3-dimensional components to that is they are vibrating at a much higher frequency. So as we vibrate faster and faster, we become less dense. So our energy bodies will take up residence on a different level or a different dimensional state. So again, you can see all of these different colors that go around the physical body, and each one of them carries its own unique vibration, and each one of them will affect the physical body in a different way. So again, we want these things to all be communicating because we are an energy being. We now know that we are not fully 3D. We are comprised of energy, and very scientifically, as well as in theory and metaphysically, we are energy in hard science. So again, we've covered some of the different energy bodies. I like to go back. I like to cover things several times because on the third go, usually it's going to sink into that long-term memory, and you'll start to digest some of this. So again, I like to think of health as physical, mental, emotional, and energetic. And many times I use the word bodies. You don't have to, but as you've seen, those bodies are energetic and they do exist, and they've been identified through Kirlian photography and a lot of other things. So physical, what do we look at when we're looking at the physical body? We have cells, tissues, organs, and we usually use chemical signals and electrical signals on the physical body to get a response. Mental, emotional, That's also looking at physical, but it's looking at energetic as well, because we know that the emotional body extends out. So it goes into that other dimensional layer. And we also, again, on our mental and emotional health, we utilize chemical signals and electrical signals. But then we go up to our energy body. And we know that that is light, frequency, and vibration. And we use frequency signals for that. However, what we now know is that they all respond to frequency. All of those things. What we thought we were limited to a chemical signal or a chemical messenger, and I want you all to get this right now, because we're going to be very compliant. And we say that the Healy is not designed to diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease state. We're only talking energetically, and we are a bioenergetic being. We're talking about addressing and supporting the bioenergetic field. So we say that technically this energy being responds to frequency. And so Einstein, who is absolutely one of my favorite people in the universe, he basically said the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. So what does that mean? It basically means that we have this field, this quantum field of energy, and we are not solid matter. We are highly condensed particles. We know this. We are highly condensed particles that appear to be solid, and we take on the name of being solid matter, but in fact we're not. So basically what this means is that the field is influencing matter, or really the particle. It is influencing the way that the particle behaves and how matter actually assembles into structure. So how cool is that? And again, when you think in terms of that field, and here we have this amazing quantum field of energy. And actually, we interact with multiple fields on a daily basis. We all emit energy. We're all sending out frequency, and we're reading all of that energy and that frequency. So, and then again, of course, at our core, we are energy. So here we are in our little particle state, and we're being influenced by this field. So I like to use this diagram because, again, it just goes a bit deeper in what I was just saying, which is we believe we, in our human form, are solid matter. In fact, we're not. What we're actually experiencing is a force. Because we are energy, we actually emit a force. And when my force bumps into your force, we feel each other as though we are solid, but you're really just bumping into my energy field, my force. So again, here we are as a human body, and we consider that physical matter. We go into the cells, that's also basically considered matter, physical. But if you break that down and you move further to the more fundamental things of who and what we are, then we know we go into the atoms. And here you can see the electrons, which are spinning around the atom in these orbitals, and we never know where they're going to be. We call that the electron cloud because it's a potential. We never really know where they're going to land. They're spinning around, and they're massive vortexes of energy. And when you get inside of the atom and you go into the nucleus and you crack that open, you have the neutron, which is neutrally charged, and then you have the proton, which is positively charged. But you can crack open that proton and we get quarks. And we get these incredible subatomic particles, but at the indivisible level where you can no longer break anything down, what we have is energy. So we are pure energy in our fundamental indivisible state. And I hope everybody understands the magnitude of this. I know you think, okay, I can touch you, I can feel things, I can feel a desk, but the only reason that you feel those things is because we emit a force. Our energy field is vibrating and oscillating and spinning around, and we emit a force. And that's why you feel things, basically. So the field affects the way the particles assemble matter into physical form. So does it not make sense, if we can tap into that field, if we are communicating through the field, then we can certainly affect the way our particles assemble into physical form. You got to be getting exciting. I mean, you really got to be getting excited, because the more you get into this and the more you start to think about it and use your critical thinking, you start to realize, holy guacamole, man, there's some cool stuff going on here, and I can affect great change in everything I am and everything I do, because the way that particles assemble and create your reality, you have the ability to influence it. So that's exciting stuff. So what we have to do, because we are all of these things, we have all of these things at our disposal, but we have to build a bridge to the different components that comprise who we are. Because what are we? Well, we appear to have physical bodies, and we do, and we need to look after them. And we have physical bodies that have body systems and have cells and tissues and organs. And we have energy centers, we have chakras, and we're pulling in energy from different dimensions, which it's not up for debate, folks. They're there. We know they're there. So is there a common language that can communicate across all of these facets to get every one of those components of who we are as a holistic being? Is there some language that we can use? So in a healthy body, all of the body systems are communicating effectively, all systems. So your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your energetic bodies, everything has to be communicating. So again, is there a common language? Is there something that crosses all the barriers? Well, I believe that's frequency. And not only do I believe that, I mean, we'll be seeing some science on this, but then if that's the case, and at our subatomic, indivisible parts, we are energy, then everything, our cells, our organs, our tissues, our microbiome, maybe we're all communicating in a frequency language together. So let's talk in terms of the physical body at the moment, because we are talking about the digital nutrition subscription. And again, I think this is just a phenomenal product. I think we have such an opportunity here. So we're dialing in, we're really looking to put that communication in perfect order so that everything is running smoothly. And then here we go, a digestive system error. Warning, warning, something's wrong. So what do? We got to work out what this is. We know we have a system error. We know it's the digestive system. And what do? So basically, it's been said that almost all illness and disease starts in the gut. So typically, if we have a digestive system issue, we probably have an issue with our gut. And if that's the case, we may not be able to digest our foods properly. Also, we have this very important mucosal lining in the gut. And this is the area where our microbial community takes up resonance and then starts to cultivate and thrive. And this is very, very important for us to digest foods, to keep us healthy, to keep us protected, to work with our immune system. So these things are very, very important. And this is a key in our health. So again, we talked about we're a symbiotic organism. We've got all of our cells communicating, but we've got these little tiny microbes that play a key role in our health. So I want to take you to this image right now, because this image speaks volumes about what can go down. So in this image here on the left, we have the cells that comprise the gut. These are called the epithelial cells, and these little circles are just the nucleus of the cells where all the good stuff happens, all our little organelles are. And this little area here is called the tight junction. So it works like a lattice, and it's a barrier. It pulls those tight junctions together, and it keeps the integrity of the gut safe. It protects the blood. So you can see this beautiful blood flow here with nothing but blood cells in it, nice and clean. The tight junctions are pulling those cells very tight and very close. On the top, we have that mucosal layer that I'm talking about. Now, this is of critical importance. Again, this is where our good bacteria takes up residence. You can see things like food particles here. You can see some gluten. You can see a virus here. And so we're safe. We're protected when the body is doing what it needs to do. But if you look over here, you can see now there's almost no mucosal layer. And that's gone away. Now we've got virus, we've got gluten, we've got food particles, we've got nasty little critters here, bad bacteria, toxins, pathogens. And what's happened? They've just slipped through the cracks. There's no tight junction with the barrier keeping the integrity, that barrier, that gateway closed off. And we see all of this garbage now in the bloodstream. And the issue here is now it's free flowing. So it's free flowing, gee, that's a tricky one, through the system. And it's going to start to hit areas like the joints, and it's going to move through the body, and the immune system's going to recognize that and go, okay, we have invaders, we have a problem, and it's going to send their little armies to clean this mess up. And so it does that, and it gets everything handled. And then you go to put something in your mouth again. And as soon as you do, ding, 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 danger, danger. And the immune system kicks into gear, sends the army, and here we go again. Garbage all through the bloodstream. And then more hitting the joints. The joints start to get inflammation, start to swell. The immune system goes into high alert, high alert. It keeps having to go. It stops recognizing then what is the pathogen and what is the actual part of the body. What do I need to attack? So it can start to cause some really serious issues here. Then the adrenals kick in because they're trying to back up the immune system. They want everything working and lots of energy going. Then we can go into adrenal fatigue, adrenal burnout, adrenal crashing. So have you ever thought, you know, I'm just exhausted, I'm not getting through this? And it simply could have been a very simple issue that's remedied in the gut. If we catch this in time, if we can do something about this, we can clean this crap up pretty quickly, and all of these knock-on issues can get addressed. So I hope you understand and see how extremely important this is. So again, when we think about this, if this goes on long enough, we get what's called leaky gut syndrome. So a permeable leaky gut. And then we again see things, oops, let me go back here. We see things like autoimmune disorders, systemic inflammation, massive food intolerances. Most food intolerances are because of a damaged leaky gut, as well as a lot of arthritis. Arthritis is autoimmune, damaged leaky gut. MS, a host of things are autoimmune, but we'll get to some of the master regulator of some of that stuff. But things like medication, bacteria, stress, and we're all under so much chronic stress right now. This can cause permeability like this, toxins, pathogens, this nasty, filthy food down this donut, which we all love, and chocolate and things like that. But the things that we eat can really cause some issues with our intestinal barriers and those tight junctions. And of course, the mucosal lining that lines those important cells that keep us healthy and safe. So then what we get is circulatory issues. We can have problems with the circulatory system, and then the lymphatic system has to step in. So then we can have issues with the lymph. And if it's not draining properly, well, then you got another issue there. So you can see that this is really, really important to identify and to address. And many times, systemic issues that are look to be really big problems, like astronomical, that you're thinking, oh, I can't fix this. I can't get on top of all of this, the crap that's going on in my body. If we go back to square one and we just consider that possibly we got some damage to the gut and we know how to work with that, then we can start to heal things. So another issue that we have here is we have a gut-brain connection. So all of our microbes also are sending chemicals, are sending information. And that's another really important thing to understand, is that a lot of the times, if we've damaged the microbiome, if we've damaged our important microbial communities, our good bacteria, we may not be able to digest our foods properly. We're not able to extrapolate and break down the nutrients that are wrapped in some of the food. We need these little critters helping us. And they are also responsible for helping with things like serotonin. So they can adjust our moods. They can affect some of our neurotransmitter signaling for our emotions. They play a role in anxiety and depression. They play a role in the things that we crave, whether they're good for us or bad for us. And many times when we have a damaged, permeable, leaking gut, we may have a damaged, permeable, leaking brain barrier. So the gut-brain connection is very important. And when we have all of that garbage and all of that crap free flowing through the bloodstream, they can cross the blood-brain barrier and get into very delicate areas of the brain and affect the brain in ways that we don't want to happen. So that's a big deal. And we have to be aware of what can happen, the knock-on effect of things. So that takes me to my favorite body system, the endocannabinoid system. So the endocannabinoid system is the body's master regulatory system. It regulates all of the other body systems for perfect balance. It was only discovered in the 90s by a Dr. Raphael Mechoulam and his research team. I am astounded that this body system went undetected for so long. It's one of the very first body systems to come online when the egg is fertilized. It seems to govern life. It is a very critical system. It actually regulates the immune system as well. So it is very, very, very important. Okay? It is tied up in so many different things. So it's there regulating pain. It regulates mood, appetite. So appetite suppressant even too. If you're eating too much and you just are constantly wanting to eat and you don't feel that you're getting enough food or nutrition into your body, endocannabinoid system. It regulates energy, sensation, metabolism. That's a big deal. Also, we know that cancer is a metabolic issue. So metabolism. The ECS, endocannabinoid system, is implicated in most illness and disease states, including cancer. So that's a very important body system that you want functioning for you and working for you. Inflammation, stress responses, thermoregulation, that's temperature, hot, cold, muscle control, inter-eye ocular pressure, motivation and reward. Do you see how important the ECS is? It is absolutely critical. Now I'm going to do something that may explode your head. When I found this out, it exploded my head, let me tell you, because just when you think that your microbial community, your microbiome, those little critters couldn't get any more important, well, they do. The gut microbiome activates and regulates that body system. Let that sit with you for just a minute. You're talking about the master regulatory system of the body, the most important body system as far as I'm concerned. And the gut microbiome activates and regulates the ECS. So when we have the kind of damage to the gut, and we don't have an area in that beautiful mucosal lining for our microbes to take up residence and thrive, we are predisposing ourselves to some pretty big complications. So this creates a cyclic relationship. So the microbiome activates and regulates the ECS, but the ECS also helps regulate the microbiome. So it's like, it's kind of the chicken and the egg situation. So what's more important? Well, they're all important, and it's a cyclic relationship. So we have to support this very important relationship. And again, how do we do that? Is there a common language? Is there something where they're all speaking the same language? Because we want to nourish our bodies, and we want to be able to eat foods, beautiful foods. Like here in this image, we have omegas and all of the different healthy foods, nuts and fruits and veg and all kinds of beautiful nutrient dense foods. We want to, make sure that we're getting that kind of nutrition. However, we can be eating all of these foods and still not benefit. If we don't have the microbes that actually have, if our body is not capable of breaking these foods down properly, extrapolating those nutrients out of them, creating the chemicals and the chemical signals that our body needs to thrive, then we have an issue, right? So this is a problem. We can shove all of this down our face, and maybe we're not going to get what we need. The other thing is the foods that we have these days are nowhere near as nutrient dense as they were 100 or so years ago. We've got, pesticides, herbicides, all kinds of crap running. We're being poisoned. There's so much toxicity and toxic residue. The soils are not being cared for properly. We are not rotating crops the way we need to replenish all of the nutrients in the soil so that our foods have the kind of nutrition that our bodies need. So this is a problem, right? And then we're not even recognizing some of it, even if we're eating the very cleanest and best foods. Well, we may need some support. We may need a little divine intervention, right? And basically, so we have these foods, but we've already learned for the most part that everything is energy, right? When you break it down to the tiniest, most fundamental unit, it's energy, it's frequency. And thank goodness, we have this beautiful Healy, right? So, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, quantum signals control life. Quantum signals can influence the shape of molecules. Now, that's a big statement. That is an astronomically huge statement. Quantum signals can influence the shape of molecules. Well, what does that mean, basically? So there's a new twist on molecular shape. So this came out of Nature. This is a publication that Dr. Lipton likes to use, and it says, what are the forces that control the twisting and folding of molecules into complex shapes? Well, here it says, don't look for the answers in your organic chemistry textbook. Well, when I was in organic chemistry, let me tell you, I thought I could find the answers to everything in my textbook. We now know that's not what's happening. And let me explain how big this is, because look at amino acids. Amino acids are like these, think of them as the fundamental little building blocks to proteins. So when you string a bunch of amino acids together, and then you're building proteins. So when you fold them, when you twist them and fold them, they create proteins that build our bodies. So if you fold a protein, and he's saying molecule here, a certain way, you can create a bone cell. You can create. So this is the building blocks of life. So what I just said to you a minute ago is that these frequencies are actually influencing the folding of proteins, which is life. It is life building. I hope you understand how astronomically huge that statement is. I get really excited about this stuff, if you haven't noticed, because it is head exploding. It is so cool. Again, here. So I was always taught in biology that I'm a little protein machine. Don't ever talk to these professors about energy. Don't talk to them about spirit, soul, nothing. You are a little protein machine programmed to do what you do. And so that's basically what this is saying. And it's basically saying that there is another level of organization in biological systems. And here's where it gets exciting. Attuned resonance in different molecules that enables bioenergetic machines, that's my little protein machine here, to operate rapidly and yet efficiently. So what's going on? Wait a minute. Have we just changed our tune? And who knew? This was published in 1974. You know how long we've known this stuff, and we haven't had access to this? I didn't get trained this stuff when I was doing my degree. I mean, how dare them? I didn't get this information. I would have been so excited. So what it's saying here is that there is something else organizing the biological systems. Wow, right? So Bruce Lipton goes on to say that a chemical messenger is 1 to 2% efficient in delivering a signal, because most of the reaction is wasted as heat. So in chemical reactions, you always have byproducts. Usually it's water and heat, okay? A resonant vibrational signal is about 99% efficient. This is according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, as well as some other big science, but I haven't put it in here because it would take us forever. So this is big stuff. This is really exciting stuff. So going back to that article, we're talking about efficiency and chemical messengers. So signaling is based on efficiency and speed. Then if we already know that a chemical signal is 1 to 2% efficient in speed and efficacy, and now we know that a resonant vibration is 100% more effective than a chemical, I hope everybody's like dancing and screaming and head exploding moments, because hello, a resonant vibration is 100% more efficient than a chemical. This is big stuff, right? This is astronomical. And I'll tell you, every atom or molecule emits and absorbs light of characteristic wavelengths, frequency. Every atom or molecule emits and absorbs frequency. Feel it with me, kids. Feel it, right? Because we're in a frequency business. We're in a frequency world. We're really looking to empower people to understand that we are cutting edge. But again, I will say, Healy does not diagnose, treat, cure any illness or disease state. Healy is a wellness device. Healy is supportive and helps to support the bioenergetic field with frequency, which is basically what we're talking about, aren't we? So that brings us back to the digital nutrition. And again, according to the science of Dr. Bruce Lipton, we can support our bodies using frequency messengers. And now we can go into these different frequencies here. So we're back to the digital nutrition, and we're looking at all these amazing programs, right? What do we have? We have so many beautiful things. Now I've got an image up at the moment, and we now have, because I understand a lot of what a lot of these individual things mean, but most people wouldn't know what everything means. And I'll get to that in a minute, but I want to tell you a little exciting story, because I was really struggling with sleep, and I've had severe sleep issues, chronic sleep issues, to the point where I've had insomnia for a very, very long time. And my doctor prescribed me some melatonin, and I took that melatonin, and I really didn't get any benefit. It made me bump into the wall a couple times, but I didn't go deep. I didn't go deep into sleep. It made me a little off balance. Anyway, and I took it and I really expected the magic to happen, and I didn't get that magic moment. But I jumped into the digital nutrition knowing what I know, and I decided to do tryptophan. And I did the tryptophan because that's a precursor in the body. When you have tryptophan, it can help to create melatonin for myself. So I ran the tryptophan, and then I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll run the melatonin as well. Well, I slept for 11 or 12 hours. It was absolutely fantastic. Now, that's just a personal testimony. That was my experience. I don't know that that would happen for everybody, but let me tell you, I was dancing around the room the next morning because that was profound for me. So knowing what I know and knowing what science knows about everything is actually a resonant frequency, and resonant frequencies actually fold fold proteins in the body, fold molecules to create life. It's a no-brainer, right? I mean, 1 + 1 is 2. So, and we're talking energy, we're talking frequency. That's what we're talking about. So how exciting is that? But see, I understand a lot of these individual substances. And a few of them, like glutathione. Glutathione is one of the most profound antioxidants on the planet. You want glutathione. Methionine, cysteine, these are part of the methylation cycles. And many people have, I call it the motherfucker gene. It's the MTHFR gene. Sorry, we'll bleep that out. That is a really nasty gene mutation and you do not detox, your body, no matter how much you work to detox, it does not detox properly. So you need things like glutathione, methionine, the cysteine, taurine. You need these things. So and if you don't understand the importance of this stuff, I've created a booklet on amino acids that you can jump in. It's a digital download. I highly recommend grabbing that because it's done in a way that really walks you through. It's got pictures, it's got everything you need, and you can start to help people yourself as well with some of these frequencies. So we're going to jump into what we now have, because Healy recognized that not everybody is going to understand what each of these things mean. So they made it easier for us. Instead, they took a lot of these and they wrapped them up like energy. They would put things there that would help the metabolic processes in the body with certain aminos, certain different things for metabolism, all kinds of stuff that would be neatly wrapped. And I've got a printout too of some things, so that I've had to learn what was in each of those. So you don't really need that because they've done the work for us. That's what's cool about this. So these different frequencies are in the digital nutrition. And I'm telling you guys, you'd be a crazy person to not utilize this, knowing what you now know. You guys want this. So if your body is not metabolizing the food properly and you're not getting the benefits, and if you're in starvation mode, you actually pack on weight. You don't get skinny. You actually pack on weight because the body's going to grab everything it can and store it as fat because it thinks it's starving. So there's a lot of things that can be potentially going on here. So it's really cool that we can jump into this program. We can look at some of the things that are here, and they supply us with these a package of frequencies that help us accumulate nutrition in a way that the body recognizes nutritionally. So how cool is that, right? I mean, how awesome is that? The next one here, we've got frequencies for the skin. Again, we talked about the digestive system. Here we go, gastrointestinal. Hello, thank you. We need that. Vitamin B complex. Holy moly, man, how freaking fantastic. Connective tissue. We know that our liquid crystals are in there. That's an important one. The endocannabinoid system is all through there. That's important. How good is that? Allergies? There are so many hypovitaminosis. Let me just say, that's a big deal. This is important because you could be giving yourself the right stuff, the right chemicals, and your body cannot metabolize it. It doesn't process it. It can't. It's damaged. It's got some errors, warnings, it's danger. It's not doing what it needs to do. So here I'm showing you. So let's say hypovitaminosis. If that is a metabolism issue. So what happens is we have malabsorption, or we have lack of, or probably both, lack of availability. So these are frequencies for the vitamins of B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hello, this is fantastic. A, D, E, K, and C. That's in here. And again, remember, Healy does not send everybody the same frequencies. Healy is dynamic. It has computational sensing. It utilizes that quantum sensor in a very powerful way. So it's going to scan. It's going to go back and forth. It's going to check with what it recognizes as the frequencies or lack of in your body, and it's going to go back to its database, and it's going to look at it, and it's going to send frequencies and see what the body takes, what it doesn't take. It may not use all of them. It will use a number of different frequencies that your body is sending the information that it needs. Again, over here, amino acids, building blocks. They are the building blocks of proteins, and proteins are the building blocks of life. Look at all these phenomenal amino acids in this thing. This is very, very, and remember I talked about methionine. That's important. Lysine helps if you have like the herpes virus, and so many people have that, you know, that's important. Glycine, histidine, arginine, ornithine, that helps to burn fat. Want to get that fat off, don't we? That helps. It helps with energy, helps with muscle repair and muscle growth. There's the taurine again, glutamine. We have to have glutamine to heal the gut. If you don't have L-glutamine, you can't pull those tight junctions back together. I don't know anything that heals the gut like L-glutamine. So these things are powerful. This is powerful, powerful stuff. And again, we've learned based on science that the body responds to a resonant frequency. Hello? There you go. You are crazy not to take advantage of the power behind these things. So again, what do we want to do? We want to build a bridge. Is there a common language that will communicate with all of these components of this beautiful, magnificent being that each and every one of us is? Well, yes, it's frequency, isn't it? We've learned that. So turn on your Healy, baby. Turn it on. Get your digital nutrition and start nourishing your soul, because we've got a database of some very powerful stuff, don't we? So that's that. I hope you guys are excited about that.